John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, everybody? Dan Servodidio and John Impemba here, breaking down today's MLB DFS main slate for tonight's 11 games on the board here. Servo filling in for Grande, my man, coming off the Better Sports Betting Show. How are we doing?
I'm ready to go. Me and Howard just broke down some NFL Week 1 bets and stuff, but we gave out a couple of baseball picks, and that just kind of got my juices flowing to dive into a whole night of baseball, because there's a couple college football games tonight, but besides that, we're watching baseball and we're making some lineups.
we talked about it, right? We are in the perfect triangle, square, polygon, however you want to describe it, zone of sports, right? Like everything is happening right now. Baseball, NFL kicked off last night. College football is going on. We'll have NFL this weekend, and then in 3 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks, we're going to have NHL and NBA preseason going on. I know college basketball is probably right around the corner. It's going to be a wild time to be a sports fan with everything that
the FIBA World Cup. We just saw USA lose this morning.
I know. Absolutely incredible. So, just a ridiculous amount of stuff going on. And, of course, at Fantasy Line, we're covering all of it for you guys here on the site as well. So, become a member of the family if you haven't already right now. Again, you go to fantasy.com/win. You can take advantage of our all-pro package. Right now, our annual subscription is 40% off the month-to-month price. You basically are getting, it's 5 months free at that point, 6 months free. You can get the football season for free if you just sign up for the annual package. We also have a 7-day free trial. You get access to all of our premium content and access to our Discord. So a lot of great things going on over here at Fantasy Alarm. Before we get into tonight's slate, Dan, we got to do a little shout out to our friends over at rtsports.com. rtsports.com/alarm, promo code alarm23. New users get a 100% deposit match up to $200 there. Right now, you can still enter the RT Sports Fantasy Football Championship. That's running right up until Sunday. Opportunity to take home a $500,000 grand prize just by playing a little fantasy football this season. So go check it out. They also have a DFS Pick'em contest over there, which Dan and I are going to give you our favorite DFS Pick'em plays for tonight right now. Looking at the RT Sports Pick'em board here, Servo, again, you and Bender went over some of your favorite MLB plays on the Better Sports Betting Show. Anything translating for you tonight on the slate over here?
Yeah, give me Trey Turner. This is just a lock and load until it stops cashing. Trey Turner, 1.5 total bases. He's going for more than that. I can't get away from Turner with the streak he's on. Back home, just got activated off the paternity list for tonight, so he's got that
strength now.
Yeah, he's got the dad strength and power going for him. So yeah, give me the total bases more than for Trey Turner.
I like that one a lot. For me here, I'm going to go find myself going on over to this Mets Twins game here, and we're going to be attacking Dallas Keuchel with Francisco Lindor. We're going to go more than 7 fantasy points for him this evening. Again, Lindor's been hot. Love the Mets tonight in DFS. We'll certainly talk about that. So getting 7 fantasy points there against a lefty for Lindor feels pretty good for me. Anything else on the board tonight for you, or are you good with the 2-pick play today?
I'm good. Down at I don't see one available for Kyle Harrison for the Giants, but if anything comes up for him, I do like his strikeouts, but it's not there at the moment.
They're pulling the good lines on us,
I do think the Astros-Padres game is going to be higher scoring, so I would look at a lot of, if you want to go with Altuve to go more than a run.
Sure.
I think Tatis more than a run going against Hunter or Brown. I think that's a good call. So a lot of those Astros-Padres ones.
Love it. So we got some opportunities here to make some money. A 2-pick play tonight for 3xing your cash. Trey Turner more than 1.5 total bags. Francisco Lindor more than 7 fantasy points. We're going to go to rtsports.com/alarm. Promo code alarm23. New users will get that 100% deposit match up to $200 there. All right, let's get to the main event of the evening here, breaking down this DraftKings main slate. Weather is certainly something we have to be on the lookout. There's a handful of games in the Northeast that could have at least a weather delay to start. a mid-weather delay game that could impact pitching here. So you definitely have to pay attention. Milwaukee, New York, LA versus Washington, Miami, Philadelphia, and even Baltimore, Boston. They're going to have some rain in the area and around first pitch on this one. So, we're about 2 hours away from the start of these games. So you're going to have to pay attention as we get closer to lineup locked and figure out how safe these games are. Hopefully, we just get sort of early news like, all right, this one will be in a delay, but that means it's going to give it clarity to, then go on. But it's going to be risky if any of these games start to use some of the pitching here if you wanted to, because it could start, get in 2 innings, get into a delay, be an hour delay, and then we don't know if these starting pitchers come back out. So hitters generally safer in rain games than pitchers, so just something to pay attention to there. Dan, when looking at this game and these games in general, again, coming off of the Better Sports Betting Show, any totals for you that you're liking in terms of game totals or matchups, anything in particular when it comes to Vegas lines tonight?
Yeah, I mean, the Orioles-Red Sox game's got a 10 over-under. I think the highest on the main slate here, and it's the Orioles are slightly favored, so we should see offense on both sides of that. Bradish versus Tanner Houck. So that's immediately, if you want to go mini game stack that off the bat, I wouldn't mind that. But we do have some higher totals. I know there's rain concerns with the Dodgers-Nats too, but the Dodgers-Nats game is 9.5 as the over-under. So obviously we like a lot of the Dodgers hitters. The Mookie Betts injury is one to watch, right? I don't. Have you seen a lineup for the Dodgers? I don't think he's going to be in it, right?
Yeah, I know. Chris Taylor's leading off. Mookie Betts is out.
Yeah. So, but yeah, other Dodgers guys. But then, obviously the Braves offense, that's a 9.5 team game total in that one. And the Braves are big favorites over the Pirates. So that's immediately one of the higher team totals as well this year, this night.
Yep, 100%. So it's going to be interesting to see how we go about, the lineup builds tonight, because when I was doing the playbook today, I didn't like a lot of the value pitching here, Dan. So, there wasn't a lot of great options, but there is a lot of value hitting available on the slate. Okay. So it kind of helps us out a little bit. It also helps that we have 11 games here.
Yeah, I got to ask you right off the bat, when you look at the top of the starting pitchers pool here, Blake Snell worries me on the road against an Astros offense that just is crushing left-handed pitching. I know Snell has been really good this year, a Cy Young contender, but I'd be worried about paying 10-8 for him on DraftKings going against the Astros. But I don't know. What do you think about that, or just like kind of the top end pitchers tonight?
Yeah, no. So Snell was not a guy I was looking to go. Just everybody in that lineup for Houston right now is rolling, and then even their lefties hit lefties really well. So it's not like he has a reprieve getting Jordan or Kyle Tucker. Those guys are just as good against lefties. And in Tucker's case, he's actually better against lefties than he is against righties, which is weird. So, no, I was not interested in paying the 10-8. I do like Kodai Senga here. I know we talked earlier on in the year about his home road splits, but those are starting to even off here. He's down to a 3.8 ERA on the road. The strikeout numbers are still legit. We know the Minnesota Twins strike out more against right-handed pitching than any team in baseball. Now, the home runs could be a problem because we know how many home runs that Minnesota hits, but Senga's not giving up a lot of home runs, only 13 on the year. So if he's able to keep the ball in the park, but also cause a lot of swing and misses, which he does, there's another double-digit strikeout game here. He's had back-to-back games with 10-plus strikeouts. And Minnesota, again, is a team that certainly could make that 3 in a row for him. So for me, Senga for sure. And then I liked Jordan Montgomery. I think he's going to be a chalk monster tonight. Anytime Oakland's on a slate, whatever pitcher is generally going opposite of them is the team that the pitcher that gets the most rostership here. So yes, Jordan Montgomery did just get lit up by Minnesota, 6 earned and 3 2/3. Faced them the time before that, 3 earned runs there. But for the most part, this should be a pretty good spot. He faced them already, 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 5 Ks. Took the loss in that one, kind of a tough luck loss, only allowing 2 earned runs. But more than happy to spend $9,400 at home for Montgomery here. And then you mentioned Kyle Harrison, another favorite of mine today. Love that the pitch count's up there to 91 pitches in the last 2 starts, so they're going to let him go deeper into the games. And he had 11 strikeouts against Cincinnati, so to show you his ceiling. Philly and San Diego don't really strike all that much, but Colorado does. So Colorado on the road outside of Coors. Like, this feels like a really good spot for a top prospect like Harrison to get another big day under his belt. So top 3 guys for me. I'm good with Harrison, Montgomery, and Senga. I gave a look to Griffin Canning. I think against Cleveland could be a spot for him at $8,800 too, but more of a contrarian play. I think I'd find myself looking to get the $200 more to get to Harrison if I could. And then it really kind of dropped off for me. Again, I wasn't interested in Yuri Perez, Hunter Brown, Logan Allen. Kikuchi's kind of interesting, but Casey's offense is starting to come back around, and they do hit lefties a little bit better on the year. They have Nelson Velasquez homered at 3 straight games, hit in the middle of their lineup. So I just kind of went down to Bryce Elder here at $8,000. A big favorite in Vegas to get the win tonight. Now, obviously, Atlanta's at home here. He doesn't strike out a ton of guys. Pittsburgh did get to him a few starts ago, but I do like Elder at 8K. I think he could fit some really good home numbers this year. And again, the win equity is sort of built in with him.
Yeah. Going back to your Harrison call, his strikeout prop's like 6.5 out there on some sports books. And I do think it's juiced to the over. I think he goes over that against you mentioned a Rockies team that strikes out a lot. So I like that call, and he'll probably go, he'll be like the contrarian option because people will go Senga, Montgomery over Harrison if you're paying up. And the middle tier of pitchers is pretty ugly. I don't want to play any of these guys except Elder, but I do worry. Even Elder, you mentioned he got knocked around by Pittsburgh, a month ago. So that's a recent start, and he's a guy that's been, when we do the betting show together, I've faded him a few times because it's his like underlying metrics say that a regression's coming for him.
He doesn't strike anybody out, so
that worries me. He walks guys. But again, the Braves are big favorites. So he has a good chance of getting the win, which helps obviously from DFS. So
Sanchez here is like mildly interesting. Now, the reason why we don't like him tonight is because of how good Miami is against lefties, but they don't have Jorge Soler in their lineup anymore, so it does take a little bit of a punch out of that. And Sanchez has been pretty decent, with some middling strikeout numbers. He gets quality starts. He's been limiting the damage. Doesn't really walk a lot of guys. We like Philadelphia tonight, even though Yuri Perez is on the other side of that. I'm just like desperately looking for like other starters on this slate. And outside of the most recent outing, which was not great against the Angels, he's been good. So, maybe Sanchez here, if you think that Soler being out of that Miami lineup makes him a bit easier to pitch against. But there really wasn't another matchup that I saw, and I was like, yes, like this is where I wanted to go. I floated out Luis Severino on the podcast this morning, and Mark Pitts was like, no, thank you. 2 of the last 3 starts for him were good, but it's in Yankee Stadium. There's some power hitters from the left side of Milwaukee, like Yelich and Frelick and Carlos Santana and Joey Weimer and that whole crew. So I'm not, or Trang rather. I'm not sure what your thoughts are on Sevy, or if there's even another value pitcher you might have interest in.
I do think Severino is like one of those boomer bust value guys. I mean, like, if you told me at the beginning of the season that he'd be 5,500 on DraftKings, in August or now in September, I would take that all day. And you've seen him go for 32 DraftKings against Detroit. And Milwaukee's offense against righties has struggled lately. So I would consider that one. I got to get your thoughts on Dallas Keuchel, because I know you like Senga on the other side. Keuchel, his last 2 home outings have been solid, and he's 5K. He's got terrible road splits. He got knocked around by the Rangers his last time on the road. Got a terrible start against the Phillies on the road, but when he's been at home, he's actually been solid since joining the Twins here.
Yes. No. I hear you. I am just going to bet against him here. Okay. Shutting out Texas broke a lot of lineups that day for DFS for sure. But I don't know. I mean, listen, we just celebrated the Mets with Patrick Corbin Day, and they did not let us down, and now they're getting Dallas Keuchel Day, just a few games later. So
true.
If Dallas Keuchel goes out there and shuts down the Mets again tonight, then you know what? I tip my cap to him, and then maybe I'll believe the home road splits are going to be a thing for him, because you're not wrong. I mean, 3 starts at home, here, and he's only allowed one earned run in 16 innings. That's
right.
pretty damn good. But I'm just gonna bet against it. He's not a very good pitcher. So
Yeah, the Mets offense against left-handed pitching has been like a top 5 offense in that split over the last couple weeks. So I get it.
Yeah, again, not for me. And I like the Mets tonight. Again, a core play for me. We'll get into the positional plays right here, but there's just a lot of good value too to help you spend up for the top bats there. So, any other pitchers for you?
No, I would say I'd not Phillies bias here, but I would stay away from Yuri Perez on the road against the Phillies offense that's hitting right-handed pitching very well. And Perez he's looked shaky since he came back into the Marlins rotation. So he's just, I know he's had some big DFS performances lately, but I think that he could struggle here.
Yeah, again, I know Harper shaved his beard because he had the 0 for 20 going. But still, you have Kyle Schwarber's got 40 homers leading off. There's just a lot of danger in that lineup. So I'm with you there. Moving on over to the catcher spot here. Again, you could spend up if you want Will Smith and Adley Rutschman right there at 56 and 52 in some pretty great spots. But I once again just found myself gravitating right towards the mid-tier in this spot. Francisco Alvarez against Keuchel at 36. Freddie Fermin hits lefties pretty well at $3,500, seemed pretty good. And then I didn't mind taking a look at Alejandro Kirk there, Danny Jansen out. We know that Casey's going with the opener long reliever approach here. So good to get Kirk in that lineup as well.
Yeah, I do think if you want to punt even lower, Luis Campusano for the Padres is an interesting name to look at going against Hunter Brown, another pitcher I'd fade tonight because he's really been cold since the All-Star break. And Campusano, when he started, he's had some good DFS performances. So
I see through you in chat here. You want to know our thoughts on Emmett Sheehan. I didn't mention him. Do you have any interest here against Washington? Again, I just don't, on a principle, like to go up against the Nationals. They just, for
I know we've talked about that a lot.
They're just like a feisty team that doesn't strike out.
Yeah,
So I worry about Emmett Sheehan here. What about you?
I would too. I would stay away. And he's a guy. I'm in the DC area, and there's possible thunderstorms tonight. And we all know the Nats have a bad track record with like canceling games, and maybe a game starts and then it gets canceled. So he'd be a pitcher you kind of worry about with maybe his game gets canceled after only he throws 2 innings or something.
Yeah, there really wasn't a lot of value on this slate. We talked about that at the top of the show. I found myself looking to go more value bats today. Built a pretty good lineup with the value that you can get in the lineup while buying into some of these upper and mid-tier pitchers. So the Campusano call is good. I know James Grande's been in on him for a lot of this year as well. Some good power numbers. Connor Wong has hit righties pretty well this year, and the Red Sox offense in general has been pretty good just in Boston. So I'm looking out my window right now. It's not raining yet, so we'll see if it's going to rain shortly or not. But thoughts on Austin Wells? Again, slow to the start, but one of the top prospects in the Yankees system. Any interest here tonight against Colin Ray?
Yeah, there is. I mean, listen, him and then Dominguez, like these guys are getting the call up, and it's their time to really prove that they should have the starting jobs next year. And I think that can't go overlooked. And yeah, I think that Colin Ray is a guy I would fade as well. I like taking offenses against him, so I don't mind that play at all either.
Yeah, some good punt options here. No Gabe Moreno on the slate tonight because they played this afternoon, so we can't get our usual punt catcher in our lineup here. So
a 1-0 game by the Diamondbacks to win that.
At least Corbin got off the stolen base for my roto team. Needed the bag. So
there you go.
And then we'll see what other lineups come out. I don't think I've seen a Brewers lineup come out, but if like Carantini is out here, Severino's really struggled against lefties. Carantini will be a switch hitter. I'll hit from the left side. Could have a punt play there, $2,600, maybe some interest. And then believe it or not, Martin Maldonado has like a 200 ISO against lefties this year, something like absurd. If Grande talks about it all the time about the power numbers that he has against lefties. Not a guy you generally look to ever put into your lineup, but like homered off Sale one night when Grande had the call for him. Again, we were talking about Blake Snell and we're being worried going up against the Astros lineup on the year. Maldonado here. Why is that? What do we got here? Total batter. Oh, pitching wise. Like, why is he saying pitchers? That's what we got. Here we go. Against left-handed pitching on the year, he has. Sorry, it's even better now. He has a 303 ISO, an 882 OPS, and a 550 slugging percentage, and a 250 batting average even for Martin Maldonado against lefties. So
I think that's definitely worth a punt.
300 ISO.
Yeah.
Once
it's over 300, that's you can't look past that.
And look at the last 10 games from just in general, 290, 1,000, and 4 homers. So $2,300 for Martin Maldonado tonight could be your punt catcher play of the evening. So
by the way, we do have a Brewers lineup, and Caratini is not in the lineup.
Okay, well, that makes it even better because Maldonado and his 300 ISO is looking a little better. Let's figure out where we're going. All right, moving on over to first base here. Again, I like Pete Alonso a lot tonight, $4,900. We know the power against Keuchel, so that matchup looks great. Matt Olson against Mitch Keller, again, a lot of power. Keller's been pitching better, but it's Atlanta, so any pitcher is liable to get rocked here. If we're not going them two, any favorites on the slate for you?
Back to Alonso.
Sure.
I know he's like boomer bust, but I always think like he should not be priced so much lower than Olsen, Freeman, Harper, Vlad. Like he always has the potential to go for 20, 30.
The batting average keeps him down, I think. But he's got 42 homers and 102 RBIs already. Right, got a whole month left to play.
But yeah, against in this spot against Keuchel, I know I said maybe Keuchel has like a value, but he could serve up a couple homers for sure, and one of them easily could go to Alonso. So, but yeah, the top range, Mountcastle's not against the lefty, so I can't really say him. If he was against the lefty, I'd lock him in, but he's not. I don't know. Any top guys for you that you're like?
Yeah, I like Tristan Casas here against Kyle Bradish, $4,300. A guy that 417, 1289 the last 10. He's second in the rookie of the year running behind Gunnar Henderson, and Gunner's obviously really started to turn it back up as we hit down the final stretch here. So he's probably locking in that award. But since May, so Tristan Casas hit 150 in April, and it was just like a 200 batting average in balls in play. All of his StatCast numbers had him like 90 percentile and like hard hit and all this expected outcomes and all these things. Since May 1st, he has hit over 300 with an over 900 OPS. Like he's been an absolute animal, developing into one of the best first basemen in all of baseball here. So I know the numbers over on a whole are like 268, whatever, but recent performances, like what you're seeing here, has really been like a 3-month sample. He's just been absolutely hammering the baseball. So I like Casas a lot here against Kyle Bradish in the mid-tier. I think Wilmer Flores against Ty Block at $3,900 feels pretty good. Ryan O'Hearn, Tanner Houck has struggled against lefties. Ryan O'Hearn continues to hit the ball pretty well for the Orioles. Every time I click on him, I expect to see his last 10 to look like what I would think Ryan O'Hearn should be at. And he's always hitting over 300. So O'Hearn at 3,300, another guy that just like don't move his price tag. He's just always 3K. He has an 830 OPS, a 300 average, and 11 homers. So it's like a little bit of a free square there with O'Hearn. So those are some of the first basemen I have on my radar here.
Yeah, the Wilmer Flores one. I know that game in general is probably going to be lower scoring, but it is Ty Block on the one side, and I think the Giants could get the block. So yeah. Flores being there is a good call. I think I like that one.
Yep, I agree with you there. Moving on over to the second base position. This is where I found myself with a lot of value in the playbook here. Does Jose Altuve keep it going? Obviously he went 0 for 4 the other night, but he had 5 homers in 2 games.
Right. I think he can get back onto it because he's been, hitting well before that. Like he had a couple of like dud games, but he's been hit well overall since like the beginning of August. So, and we like the Astros against lefties, and I do think they get the Snell here. Obviously matchup against Snell maybe turns you off, but I gave this out on I gave out the over on the Better Sports Betting show that was just before this, and Snell's ERA in his career against the Astros is 6.11. That's 9 career starts, and part of that's when he used to play for the Rays, but still, I just think, and his numbers are even worse when he's in Houston on the road against the Astros. So I do think like the Altuve, maybe you don't want to pay up for him, but he could easily go for a multi-homer game again.
Yeah, 100%. In the mid-tier, I went for Gleyber Torres and Brendan Drury here. Drury at 44, Torres at 46. Again, we like Drury against lefties. I know Logan Allen's a decent pitcher here, but just Drury has the power upside that I like. And then, Gleyber's really started to turn it on for himself over the last month. 5 homers over the last 10, homer the other night, 343 with a 1,300 OPS. Gleyber Torres is trash for a lot of this season, but he's going to end the year, and you're going to look at his baseball card, and you're going to think, oh, like, look at this year. Gleyber Torres hit like 285 with 30 home runs, and you're going to think he had a good season. It's really been a good 2 months.
I like that call. I'll throw out one that's actually in Justin Vreeland's value plays article over on Fantasy Alarm. Ronnie Mauricio for the Mets. So part of your Mets stack if you want to get another couple of guys in there. I mean, hitting 7th isn't too great, but I think you look at his track record, double-digit DK points in 3 of the last 4 games.
Yeah. He was a definitely core play for me again. We'll get over it when you build the lineups, but I loved Alonso, Mauricio, Mark Vientos. We'll talk about it in a moment. He started to hit the ball really well and is super cheap. A couple of other value second basemen, Emmanuel Valdez for the Red Sox has some power. 4 straight games with a hit for him since being called up on September 1st. So a guy they got in the Christian Vasquez trade from Houston, Valdez and Weiler Abreu on the roster. So 1-year dividends being paid off there on the Christian Vasquez deal. And then Ji-Hwan Bae. Again, if you're not in on Bryce Elder, Bae, another guy that's starting to get on base, has the stolen base abilities. Look at 22 on the year, only 1 really since he's come back from his injury. That could be by design. Maybe they're not having him run as much, but a guy that is at least leading off for Pittsburgh. And, Elder doesn't strike a lot of guys out, so some balls could be put in play here this evening. So some good value at the second base position there to help you, again, spend up your lineups. At third base, there's some value, but when we're looking at the top, again, I have Bregman and Gunnar Henderson as 2 guys I'm looking to find ways to play.
Yeah, the Henderson call for sure, because I do think, you mentioned it, Taron Hawk, he's not a guy you could trust, and I think you know that as a Red Sox fan. But the
better in the bullpen, and yet they're so desperate for starting pitcher, they're stretching.
Yeah, I've noticed that. So you can go to him. Bregman obviously is a top play too, especially against the lefty and Snell.
Yep, I would agree with you. In the mid tier, there's a couple of guys. I mean, if you're not playing Senga, Lewis has some crazy home run right now. He had the grand slam, back-to-back days with a grand slam last
He's going to hit another grand slam tonight, probably.
Yeah, he's due. He's due for one. So Brian Hayes is continued to hit the ball really well. Again, we talked about Elder being a pitcher contact guy. Could get him some trouble with Bryce Elder, with Brian Hayes here. I do like Jake Berger, again, against Sanchez if you're not playing him. Berger's got a batting average up to 240, 31 home runs already for Jake Berger, and he has hit lefties really well.
Yeah, his
for power this year.
Yeah, his I don't have it in front of me, but his like ISO against lefties is very high compared to righties. And he's a guy that like instantly when he's come over to that Marlins lineup, he's looking to mash.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the ISO right here because we looked at it as well the other day. First left-handed pitching, his ISO is at 358.
Yeah.
391 WOBA for our guy here. So
he's a guy. Yeah, he's a guy when he's facing lefties. Like I gave him out as a home run call on our Better Sports Betting show. I think a few shows ago, maybe it was last week, and he came through. So yeah, he could just go deep at any moment.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for him. I also like Michael Garcia here again. I think going with the Royals tonight could be a little bit sneaky because they've been burning some people a little bit over the last few weeks here, but it could be a spot for him. to go on there. For value, as I mentioned, I like Vientos here. He's just been like super cheap. It's $2,200. He's hitting fifth. 900 OPS last 10 games, couple of homers. I know the overall season numbers don't look that great, but recent performances are paying off.
Yeah, he should not be priced this low right now, right? I mean, this is when a guy starts hitting this. Well, we've seen this in the past with even if it's just a rookie who just starts getting rolling. You'd think they'd react more than this, but 2,200 on DraftKings for
that's
a guy.
What I'm saying. He's a free square for a guy that's got a 5-game hit streak going on, multi home runs,
cash play.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think he just helps you pay for the guys you need to pay. We already talked about it. We're almost forced to spend up at pitching because we don't like any of the value. So finding value in the roster is where you're going. And Vientos for me was a plug. So I liked him there. A little bit more expensive. I like Nick Lofton here as well. Has been called up, has hit the ball pretty well. 3 games out of 5 with doubles, hits in 4 of the 5. Again, so get him against Kikuchi here this evening as a little bit of a value play as well.
Yeah, like that one. What about shortstop?
Yeah, shortstop's loaded as we talk about, right? Seager, Witt, Turner, Bichette's back. Bichette on FanDuel is only $3,000. That is pretty much a free play. Yeah, free play on FanDuel for Bichette. If you wanted to use Henderson, you could. Lindor's 48. Abrams, you could play any one of the top 7 shortstops tonight.
Is Bichette? I mean, it's his first game back. Is that why they've priced out? Yeah, that's
so I mean, sort of, but FanDuel just never really prices him as among the top priced shortstops. I don't know if that's team related or what, but he's been basically the best consistent Blue Jay, prior to Davis and Schneider getting called up. But Bichette's been really good for a lot of this year.
Yeah, it's a shame. You got a Bobby Witt. I got Trey Turner. Like every day when we do the betting show, we're always throwing up props for them. But in DFS, you have to choose between them tonight.
Yeah, I know. And honestly, I don't think I'm playing either. I think I'm playing Lindor.
Oh, wow. All right, there we go.
Lindor versus the lefty. Look at recent gains for him there. He had some power. So I like Lindor a lot. But Turner was a monster before. 7 homers in 10 games. Again, had the child, so maybe a little bit more motivation there down the narrative streak. So
one guy that is probably going to go overlooked just because of how stacked the position is. Xander Bogaerts been really good recently, and I just think Hunter Brown he's gone through some struggles. He's got like a 5-something ERA since the All-Star break, and I think the Padres will get to him here. But Bogart's hitting 5th there. I mean, just a really good spot to post another 20-plus DraftKings points.
Listen, I agree with you. 421, 1,100 OPS over the last 10 is a pretty good spot for him. Not the season I don't think the Padres hope they got from Xander when they gave him all that money, but if he can finish strong for them, maybe they'll feel a little bit better about it. Looking down in the mid-tier range here at the shortstop position, I think Amador Rosario could be in play at 4K. If Orlando Arcia is in the lineup tonight at $4,200, he feels pretty decent as well. And then for value, we talked about Mauricio already, but I think Kike Hernandez at $3,200 has that multi-positional eligibility. So if you don't want to go Rosario, or if you're playing Rosario at second tonight against Gore, Kike could be the spot there against Gore too at $3,200.
Yeah, and Mauricio also, shortstop eligible. Yeah. So, if you wanted to go there as a second base or shortstop.
Yep, I agree with you. Moving on over to the outfield here. Again, you have Ronald Acuna. Certainly can go ahead and play him. Are you willing to play Jordan and Tucker here against Snell, or is it just like if you're being contrarian, you would go that way?
Tucker for sure, just because he hits lefties so well. Alvarez too, obviously hits lefties well. And is homered in back-to-back games coming into tonight too. So that's notable. But I do think the Astros lineups, the Astros hitters might be contrarian because it's Snell. And especially if people are rather would pay up for Acuna over Alvarez or over Tucker, and same thing with instead of playing Altuve or Bregman. But still, I think that I think these guys could go a little overlooked, but Snell could he could run into. He's capable of blowing up. his like walks he's at a career high walk rate this year, and I think that's in trouble against an Astros team. That if you walk a couple guys, we could see a 3-run homer, we could see a grand slam. I wouldn't rule it out.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like Soto tonight against Brown. You already talked about Brown maybe having some struggles lately. Soto's a guy that hits righties fairly well, obviously, on the year. Yelich against Severino, even though a little bit expensive. I like the lefty power bats in the Yankee Stadium. Adam Duvall, again, he had that crazy run. I know he's cooled off a little bit, but, at any point he could spark up the power numbers again, get him at home against a green monster. $4,800. The Red Sox outfield in general for me is going to be in play. Him, Verdugo, Yoshida, all fine, and Ozuna as well in this mid 8K range.
Yeah, the one guy you didn't mention, but I haven't actually paid attention every day to the Marlins lineups. But has Jazz Chisholm been hitting 7th against lefties usually?
I haven't checked the Marlins in a while. It feels like Marlins are never on the main slate for one reason.
Yeah, they're always playing early.
Yeah, always playing like that 6:40 game, but it could be. I mean, listen, we know the Diamondbacks back Jazz. So, I mean, they bat Corbin 7th versus lefty, so
because I would be interested in Jazz, but hitting 7th is just not something I want to pay 5-2 for.
5,200 for you. He's been good for sure, and maybe they get Sanchez out of this one, and he gets a matchup against a righty at some point. So I don't think anybody's playing Miami tonight, so it could be a little bit of a cheap play there.
Yeah, Christopher Sanchez isn't like a shutdown starter by any means. So
he's pitched well, but like I said, he's also gives up hits and runs in all of his starts too. So he's definitely not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Some other guys in this low 4K range, you have Michael Harris. Jason Dominguez is up to $4,100. He did finally homer. We were waiting for that to come in Yankee Stadium. Homered a couple nights ago. 0 for 3 against Detroit last night, but a good spot for him to bounce back against Colin Ray. Eddie Rosario, 41. Sal Frelick, 42. Some low 4K guys.
Yeah, Santander, if you're looking at an Orioles stack, hitting 3rd tonight, on fire. 391 batting average of the last 10 games. He's been on a homer binge, too, over the past, month here. So I like him.
I agree with you. It feels like a good spot for him for sure.
He'll probably go overlooked just because I did mention at the beginning, just like the Orioles Red Sox game, if you want to mini game stack that. But a lot of the guys, it's like they're just like you'd rather pay up for a stud at different positions. But I do think 4,500 for Santander, even though it's against a righty, and he's a switch hitter, but he seems to be better against lefties. Yeah. But I still like that play.
Yeah, he's actually this year. So in the years past, he's been really good against lefties. This year, it's actually flipped a little bit, and he's hit righties better. So that's been a difference for him this year compared to previous years. So I do like that call. Again, I think left-handed bats against Tanner Houck is something to watch for sure tonight. For the value tier, Dalton Varsho is $3,500. I like him. Chris Taylor is $3,300. We mentioned Ryan O'Hearn already. And then I think you could go again. Nelson Velasquez homering in 3 straight days, 3,200. I'm in there as well.
Yeah, the Chris Taylor being 3,300 and hitting leadoff for the Dodgers is pretty attractive.
Yeah, back-to-back games at a homer for him too. 5 RBIs the other night. So
yeah, and he could be looking to get comfortable there, depending on how long Betts is out.
They said 3 days from what I. Really? Update, yeah.
It seemed like it was going to be a worse injury, but okay. But yeah, I mean, against the lefty too for Chris Taylor is a good spot for him. So yeah, 2 homers in the back-to-back games with a homer.
I'm looking at an updated weather report here. Again, we go look at our guy Kevin Roth there over on Twitter. He thinks that the Brewers-Yankees game likely is a delay to start and then play. Which is obviously good if you wanted to use either of the pitchers. Not that we were. Miami-Philadelphia looks like it's going to be fine. Rain should be out of the area about an hour before first pitch. Should be good there. Boston and Baltimore, again, he thinks it's going to be fine. Should be a dry game with the rain just missing outside of the stadium, which is what I saw on the radar. Somebody that lives 10 minutes away from the city, thankful. Because the radar was a lot of red with lightning bolts, so that's usually really bad storms. But it's not gonna come across Boston, so thankfully we're okay. And then they say for the Dodgers, Washington, there's some rain by the stadium, but doesn't expect to go over the stadium. So, he thinks it's going to be fine, but obviously if the rain pops up, Washington is not afraid to throw a delay out there.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm in the DC area, and there's been like the thunder rumbling for the last couple hours here, so it's in the area. I know that
the area.
Maybe it's not over the stadium as Kevin Ross says, but it's in the area.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so that's our look at positional things. You gave out your home run call on the show, the Better Sports Betting Show. What was it here today?
We did not do home run calls today.
Oh, well, then now you're in a great opportunity. Give out a home run call tonight.
Because we just gave out a lot of NFL picks on the show.
Okay.
Howard Bender gave out a home run call, and he just went right back to Matt Olson. So that was his pick. I'll go. I mean, listen, I cannot go against Trey Turner at this point. The dude is homered in he's homered 7 times in the last 7 games, not every game, but also 10 home runs in the last 15 games.
Mm-hmm.
I think his prop over on DraftKings was like plus 300 to hit another home run tonight. Why not just go right back to that? It might be the easy call, but until he stops hitting homers, I'll go back to it.
I mean, that's what it's right? Like, why stop what isn't working? So I like that one. I'm going to go back with Pete Alonso again. I'm just kind of pot committed here against the Mets. With the Mets against Keuchel. So give me Alonso as my my home run call. If you had to pick one team to stack tonight, where are you targeting?
I would go the Astros, honestly.
Yeah.
I think Snell, I know he's got like a 2.50 ERA this year. He's had some really good starts, but over the past since I think the beginning of August, his FIP is like right near 4. He's still got a low ERA over this span, but as mentioned, his walks are an issue, and the Astros draw a lot of walks. They don't strike out often, and they are smashing left-handed pitching, a high WOBA too. I think it could be trouble for Snell, and I think they might go a little overlooked because it's.
I think
Snell.
they'll definitely be over. Yeah, I think they're going to be a pretty low roster play. So I love that for tournaments tonight for sure. My tournament dart throw is going to be Kansas City. Again, just for a value stack, you can get outside of Bobby Witt. Everybody's pretty cheap in that lineup tonight. And my top stack, I'm just going to keep rolling with Atlanta. Is it cheating? Maybe, but why not? they're every day they're scoring 6.5, 7 runs. So
I thought you were going to say the Mets with how high you are on Lonzo, Lindor.
Well, I do like it. I think Atlanta probably outscores them. I've talked a lot about the Mets. We'll definitely get some Mets as like an alt stack today, for sure. I like the value. I think what you can do is you can use Mauricio and Ventos as sort of the value for that Braves lineup, because you won't play Albies and you won't play Riley. You play those two guys at second and third. And then you can get Olsen and Acuna and those other top price guys and build around there. So let's get to it, though. Let's build a lineup. Let's see what we can fit in here. If you had to pick 2 of the 3 guys at the top here, Senga, Montgomery, Harrison, where do you find yourself going today?
I like the Montgomery call. I'll let you pick between Senga and Harrison. I do like both. Maybe Harrison because he's cheaper, and I think
we need the salary. Yeah,
I think the strikeout upside is legit tonight too.
I agree. All right, $39.50. I'm gonna throw Maldonado. Those ISO numbers are not fake. So for $2,300, a guy with a 300 ISO, and you think that the Astros could be sneaky against Snell, I'll let it ride. Why not? Give us $4,100 a play. Let's see here. I said I like Mauricio here.
You like Alonso at first, right?
Yeah, Mauricio and Vientos.
Oh, you're just locking in those values.
Yeah, play in the values, get him in there. 4,700, right? So then Alonso's only 49. Yeah. And you like Trey Turner. So let's do Trey Turner at 6K.
I do think you mentioned Tristan Casas. I do like him. I like that call.
Yeah.
If you wanted to go a little cheaper at first.
Sure. I'm trying to see here. So we got a little 3-man Mets, Velasquez, Turner. We got 4,900. Can we get Acuna? Can't get Acuna. You got Acuna in at 68.
Okay.
And that would give us a 3K outfielder. Let's see. There wasn't really. Well, we did like J1 Bay as the
Bay.
Kevin Biggio. We didn't talk about Kevin Biggio against Snyder. He's hitting 5th tonight.
Oh, did so? Yeah, he's in your playbook, right?
Yeah, Kevin is. Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see. If we didn't do Acuna, just because he's so expensive, what would be your number 2 top outfield play?
Whew.
Mind you, we do have 4,900 players, so we could take 2 like Ozuna and Duvall or something. But did you have a top spend?
Well,
that
did
wanted?
you liked Lindor, right? Well,
I
'cause
did.
You could go down from Trey Turner to Lindor.
All right, so we did Lindor.
And that's a lot of
straight
savings there.
I'm fine doing a straight 4-man Minnesota. As I said, they're fine for me.
Yeah.
And that gives us 55 a play. So we do Acuna now 42. That looks a lot better.
Yeah.
Jason.
Yeah.
So that looks pretty good. So if we wanted to do Montgomery and Harrison, Maldonado, and then we have a 4-man Met stack: Alonso, Mauricio, Vientos, Lindor going up against Dallas Keuchel, Nelson Velasquez, Ronald Acuna is a one-off. Please don't let us down. And Jason Dominguez there at $4,100 with $100 left over here this evening. And again, you guys can go about reorganizing, restructuring however you want with this lineup. If you don't like Acuna, you think he's too expensive, spend down, move him around. You can get your Brave stack working away around in there as well, as we talked about. Can all make it work here this evening. So that's a look tonight. 11 games on the slate. The playbook is out. We'll be in the Discord if you have any questions for us. Find us in there. Follow us on Twitter at Dan_Servodidio, at Impemba777. If you're new to the channel, give us a little like and subscribe button. You'll get notified whenever we go live. We have 1,000 shows a day that come off here, live streams all the time. The NFL DFS show is already live on our YouTube as well. You can go check myself and Howard Bender breaking down the week 1 slate. So that's there. We'll be live both Saturday morning at 9 o'clock and then again at 11 o'clock. Sunday morning at 9 o'clock and again at 11 o'clock, getting you ready for week 1 action. So if you subscribe, you get notified when we go live. You won't miss anything when it comes to setting your lineups. Dan, any final words for the people at home?
No, let's see Snell, toss a no-hitter tonight and ruin the Astros call, huh?
Right? We like the Astros here this evening. Definitely get an Astros stack playing the 3 max tonight. So that's it for us. Good luck tonight. Have a good weekend, everybody. We'll be back on Monday. We'll talk to you later.